Video game movies and TV shows have been pretty shitty for a long time until recently with things like Sonic, Last of Us, Mortal Kombat, Twisted Metal, and Fallout. Out of all the ones I listed, and even a couple of others I didn't, Fallout did one thing that the others didn't. What's the one thing that all those projects I just listed, except Fallout, all have in common? All of them directly adapt both the characters and almost exactly the same storylines from each of the video games that they're from. Granted, some of those games barely even have a story, so they take the world and characters and twist the thin plot, turn them into a fleshed out story for the screen. When studios adapt games, they usually fall into one of two traps. Either they copy the story beat for beat, like The Last of Us, which can feel redundant for people who already played the game, or they change everything and lose what made the game special, like Halo. Guess what show that doesn't do either of those things? Fallout. If we're being really technical, Fallout isn't even an adaptation. When you say the word adaptation, you think of essentially a remake. You're taking something that already exists and you're remaking that exact same thing, well, sure, changing some stuff, then putting it onto a brand new media. Now, obviously, Fallout is an adaptation by the general definition, but I wanted to explain that in-depth, super specific definition so that I can explain how Fallout is unique compared to the other adaptations. Fallout doesn't adapt any of the game's stories. The show isn't about the courier or the sole survivor. You can make an argument that Lucy is inspired by the Lone Wanderer from Fallout 3, but her story is very different. The only thing they take from that story is the Vault Dweller leaving the vault to find their dad, but for completely different reasons, and both dads being way different characters. And you can make an argument that her personality is a lot different. If you want to get super in detail and break down all the dialogue, you can say in Fallout 3. So the short answer is that she's clearly not the Lone Wanderer, just inspired by. Like the ghoul, Cooper. The closest character I can compare Cooper to is Hancock from Fallout 4, but even then, they're insanely different characters. And lastly, we have Maximus, which I honestly have no idea who he's even inspired by, so he feels like a very original character. The Fallout show hasn't, at least yet, adapted any characters or stories from the games. They simply took the world and atmosphere, took some inspiration from the characters and tiny little plot points, and made something completely new out of it. And then on top of that, made it canon to the video games. A few other video game adaptations have attempted the same thing, such as Until Dawn. And you want to know what the biggest complaint of that movie was? Why didn't they just adapt the characters and story of the game? I have never seen a single person say that about the Fallout show, making it truly the only one to successfully do that exact thing. I guess you could say, actually, what about Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, and Arcane? Well, Arcane, I'm pretty sure all the characters are from the game, and they just invented backstories and lore for them in the show, and then made it canon. And Cyberpunk, yeah, I guess you'd be right. But I'm mainly just talking about live action adaptations. Gotta make sure the clickbait title and thumbnail is still somewhat believable, right? That's a joke, by the way. Another thing I find very unique about Fallout compared to any other video game adaptation is that the Fallout show feels like it could be a mainline game. Now, obviously, it's formatted for you to sit and watch and experience instead of take control and play through, but the experience of the show feels like the experience of playing one of the games. The story of the show feels like a plot that would be the main plot of one of the games, and the show does have goofy-ass side plots that feel like all the dumb and silly side quests in all the games. I mean, the ghoul even makes a fourth wall breaking joke about it.
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
I mean, it's true. In all the games, you literally have to do a bunch of random bullshit side quests until you can do the main quest. Although the majority of RPG games are like that, but still. While the three main characters aren't even in the games, they 100% feel like they could be. And to expand upon that point even further, each character represents a different way you can play through the games. Lucy represents the classic Vault Dweller, the innocent, pacifistic player with high charisma that's always trying to peacefully talk their way out of every situation, while also trying to help as many people as they can at the same time. Maximus is the Brotherhood of Steel soldier, torn between ideals and survival. Maximus represents the player that bends the rules and does some questionable things, but does those things for good reasons because they're ultimately a good person. He represents the player that would side with Mr. House in Fallout New Vegas or the Institute in Fallout 4. And the Ghoul, a walking relic of pre-war America, cynical and timeless. He represents the bitter, pessimistic player who wants to shoot everyone on sight and destroy as many factions as they possibly can. All the show does is shows all three of these possible ways to play the games on screen together, clashing against one another, which makes the show extremely interesting when you see the three characters interacting with one another. The actor who plays Lucy recently said that in season 2 we're going to see Lucy and the ghoul rub off on each other, trying to see who's going to influence who more. And I think that is not only really exciting and definitely going to be entertaining, but that adds on to what I've been saying, and it seems like the obvious continuation of that on screen.
I may end up looking like you. I'll never be like you.
Something that I really like about the show so far is that they don't try too hard to give the audience fan service and throw it in your face. The only fan service is that they name drop Shady Sands and then they name drop the NCR from Fallout New Vegas, which isn't fan service at all because we know they're going to be in season 2. The two things I would consider actual fan service is Mr. House from Fallout New Vegas having a cameo, and of course the iconic line,
"We have conflict and we have war. And war never changes."
which is basically hidden behind this super well-spoken and jaw-dropping speech in the final episode. If you weren't a fan, it would just fly past you instead of being thrown in your face and then non-fans being super confused as to what's going on, why that phrase is such a big deal. It's very well done. If anything, all the fan service is just Easter eggs for the fans. Easter eggs that help build the world and make it feel more immersive and lived in, and actually serve the story rather than distracting from it. To bring my entire point about the show full circle, Fallout's real protagonist has never been the player. It's been the world portrayed in each of the games. The dark humor, the retro-futuristic American apocalypse, the absurd cheerfulness of a world destroyed by its own dreams. The show captures that vibe and feeling and atmosphere and world perfectly. Fallout succeeds because it doesn't just look like the games, it feels like that. Or maybe I'm just extremely biased because I really like the games and I really like the show. If you have not played any of the games or watched the show, you definitely should. I promise you will not regret it. Season 2 of the show comes out on December 17th and I'll be covering it week to week as the episodes come out. In the meantime, I might make another video about the first season, but maybe I'll make an actual breakdown and review, or like a retrospective since I've already seen it before. I'm gonna rewatch the first season, so I might as well just make a video on it too. With that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and thanks for watching. Bye.